Yo, it's good everyone. This is Ayo Boxing from Adiba, and we're here to talk about if Keyshawn Davis is overrated. So I just watched the Keyshawn Davis versus Nahir Albright fight, and I thought it was an interesting fight. Albright just came off of two upset victories against former Olympian Carlos Baladeres and former undefeated Esteban Falcao, and Albright gave Keyshawn his hardest fight in his career so far. Albright was tough and presented a different style compared to Keyshawn's prior opponents. Most of the guys that Keyshawn has fought have been guys that mainly come forward and pressure and tended to be flat-footed. Albright, on the other hand, is a boxer. He fights on his toes and he can utilize movement. He fights behind his jab and has some slickness to his style. This presented a challenge to Keyshawn. He even managed to hurt Keyshawn with a big counter right hand at the end of the 8th round, which forced Keyshawn to fight off the back foot for the rest of the fight. However, Keyshawn displayed good skills as usual and was winning and in control for the majority of the fight, and despite getting hurt, I thought it was a good overall performance by Keyshawn. It showed me that he can deal with different styles and that he can handle adversity. This fight will give him a lot of experience and I expect him to get better. But a lot of people don't feel the same way about this performance. Many fans think it was a mediocre or bad performance, and a lot of people are saying that Keyshawn got exposed and is overrated. And this seems to be a new narrative that people will try to stick on Keyshawn. Prior to this fight, Keyshawn was already getting a lot of criticism and hate. Some of it has to do with his attitude, which is somewhat understandable because he does talk a lot of shit, but a lot of the hate and criticism was directed at his resume, and this fight will add fuel to that hate and criticism. Now the question is Keyshawn really overrated? And no, Keyshawn is not overrated. Personally, I never understood why people like to hate and criticize Keyshawn Davis as they do. He does everything that these so-called boxing fans claim that they want from these fighters. Boxing fans complain about fighters being inactive and want guys to fight more often. Keyshawn Davis is probably the most active prospect in boxing right now. He turned professional in 2021 and already has 10 fights. He fought 4 times in 2021, 3 times in 2022, and 3 times so far this year. He's apparently fighting Jose Pedraza on December 9th, so that will make that his 4th fight this year. But yet, no one really praises this from Keyshawn. Boxing fans want guys to challenge themselves and fight the best, and Keyshawn is doing just that. A lot of fans seem to forget that Keyshawn is a prospect that turned pro in 2021, and his progression as a professional is faster than the majority of other prospects. It only took Keyshawn 1 year to fight in 8-rounders, which is extremely fast and indicates the level of competition he's already facing this early in his pro career. This was faster than Tank, Teo, and Haney since they took 2 years to get ready for 8-rounders. If you compare this with another top-ranked prospect like Xander Zayas, it took him 3 years to fight in 8-rounders, and no one criticizes who he fights. And at the current stage of his career, Keyshawn is fighting good competition for being a prospect. 2 of his opponents, Anthony Yigit and Carlos Burgos, are former title challengers, and as stated before, Nahir Albright has fought several top prospects turning contender, but no one gives Keyshawn credit for his resume. It's a classic example of just because you don't know someone doesn't make them a bum. And when it comes to African American fighters of this generation, I see boxing fans complain that a lot of them are boring because they try to imitate the defensive Mayweather. And I've also seen boxing fans say that African American fighters don't like to fight each other. But Keyshawn is an offensive fighter who wants to be entertaining. He's always letting his hands go. He looks to beat up and stop his opponents in each fight, and he just fought another black fighter, but no one will give Keyshawn credit for this. I've said this in the past, but I'll say it again. Boxing fans are hypocrites and are short-sighted. They'll complain about something, but once that something is delivered to them, they'll find a reason to complain about it. People were just complaining about Keyshawn's matchmaking, saying it was too easy because he was dominating everybody. So when he faces someone that gives him a challenging fight, they complain and say that Keyshawn is overrated. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Regardless, I'm looking forward to Keyshawn fighting Jose Pedraza. That will be his biggest fight and will show us what level he's truly on. But knowing how boxing fans are, they'll find a way to discredit or criticize Keyshawn, whether he wins or loses. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Adiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.